Joining me now we have Graham Motion, of course, has a couple of runners, most notably Main Sequence, who is running in the Shima Classic. But first up, last time I think you came into this room, you were celebrating the biggest win of your career when, of course, you won the Dubai World Cup. Reflections on that night and what a performance from your horse, winning one of the biggest races in the world, if not the biggest.
Yeah, I mean, great memories. I mean, it's a little bit hard. I have to pinch myself that I'm back here, quite honestly. And to be back with a contender like this horse is remarkable to me.
And talk about Main Sequence. He's been a revelation. Obviously, he ran in Europe and then went to you. Since he's come to you, you've managed to get a really good sequence of wins out of him. He's been a revelation.
Yeah, he has. I mean, to do what he's done it doesn't happen very often. In the States, we had Wise Dan that did something comparable to what Main Sequence has done, but it's a hard thing to do, to string together 5 wins at that level. You know, I knew he was a good horse when David sent him to me. We talked about the horse a lot, but I never could have predicted what he's been able to do. And really, I think every time he's run, he's actually improved.
So how have you managed this? What's been the key for you to be able to get the best out of him time and time again?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's a very easy horse, really. For all his intricacies, he's actually a pretty easy horse to train. He's obviously a very generous horse. You know, I'm sure the surfaces have helped him. You know, David had concerns about him running up and down hill at home, and I think the flat surfaces and the firm turf in America has really suited him.
So over there, now you're bringing him over here. Has that been was it an easy decision to come back, for you to bring him over here?
You know, I think because I've been here now a few times, it makes it a lot easier. We'd considered going to the Japan Cup. It's a tough thing to do, to go to the Japan Cup right after you've been running the Breeders' Cup and you've been pointing for the Breeders' Cup. So I had reservations about doing that to him. This race really fit in his schedule, and really I've had a very similar schedule with him as I had with Animal Kingdom. He had a month off after the Breeders' Cup, and then we just geared him up for this race.
So since he's been here and you've had a look at him, what's your gut feeling? You feel he's taken to all the travels in his stride?
I do. I mean, he's handled everything very well. He paddock scored last night, which is a concern because he wants to get a little wound up, but he was very good. He handled it very well. He had a workout yesterday, just an easy 3 furlong workout. He seemed to take to it well. You know, really everything's gone pretty smoothly.
How much from learning what you did with Animal Kingdom have you been able to sort of say, right, I know I've got this kind of horse from that experience?
You know, I think, you know, certainly Animal Kingdom was probably the best horse I've ever trained, but this horse has done something that even Animal Kingdom wasn't able to do, to put a string of wins together like he has. So, you know, certainly I've got huge confidence in the horse. You know, obviously the caveat of coming over here, you throw in all the travelling and the different environment, that's a concern. It's always going to be a concern.
What do you make of the opposition? It's a pretty hot-looking race.
Yeah, it's a hot race. I'm familiar, obviously, with the Europeans' horses. Flintshire is a horse that we ran against in the Breeders' Cup. I think he'll probably go off at shorter odds than we will. To me, the Asian horses are the unknown. They're very good horses, and I'm just not that familiar with them.
So, but you're feeling that your horse won't let you down. He'll give you a very good account of it.
Look, this is the biggest race, certainly, of his career. He's going to have to really step it up. But he's always acted like there's more in the tank when he's running the States.
Okay, you've got one other horse. Talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, Quadrivium's a horse who we were going to bring him over with Main Sequence as a companion anyway. I was really hoping to get to run him on the dirt. When he came to the States, he won 2 allowance races pretty comfortably, ran big numbers. I was pretty impressed with him. We took him to California. He ran against Opportunity. It was a little disappointing that night. I didn't feel like he really ran his race. And I actually ran him on the grass to get him qualified to run here, which didn't go well. I think he's a better dirt horse.
So, and this is in the Godolphin Mile, the draw, they talk about, you know, how do you feel that's panned out for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very competitive race. I think it's a little more competitive than I thought it would be. I think at least half the field, you wouldn't be surprised to see any of them win. So, look, I'll be thrilled if he gets a piece of it. I think he's good enough to.
Oh.